Hello, what's going on? I wanted to hop on today and talk a little bit about goals, specifically in relation to MMOs or just any goals that are visible to other people. Something that has just that came up in my last ramble for me, and that it's something that actually came up in a conversation in real life for me as well. Yeah, this concept of goals and like extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. And it's an interesting one, I think, for an MMO because everything is kind of extrinsic. I well, okay, I'll backtrack. You can't separate the extrinsic value from the goal or the achievement, I guess. I have Maxcape. It's something that I wanted to get for a long time. And I wear it, and other people can see it out in the world. Um, that is a very extrinsic reward for achieving that goal. Um, the fact that I can wear the cape and other people see it, and that means that I did something that other people know that I did. Um, it's interesting, and they might have different thoughts about me because I have that item. I know this all sounds very grand for RuneScape, take it with a little bit of a, it's not as serious as I'm making it sound, but I don't know. That's basically like what I see as like extrinsic motivation. Basically, like if there's a reward for doing something, um, then like that may motivate you towards achieving the goal. And then in my head, my kind of concept of intrinsic motivation is just like, I just want to do that because I want to have done it. I want to be able to tell myself that I achieved that. I want to be able to prove to myself that I have what it takes to do that. Again, maxing is like, it's kind of easy, right? Like it's there, you just do really repetitive stuff. None of it is very hard, but I think the difficulty comes in the time commitment, um and like prioritizing it, I guess. I don't know. It is difficult, but like the action of doing it isn't hard, I guess. That's a tough one, but anyway, um there's something there to be said about like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this. I want to prove to myself that I'm good enough, or I am capable, or whatever, or I just want to enjoy the journey. Maybe I know that I can do it. Maybe I have a great plan to do it, and I just want to have fun doing it. I just want to enjoy that journey, and the reward at the end is nice. But what I'm really here for is just to prove to myself, or to experience working towards that, or working towards something. And I don't think so, like, having laid that out, my perception of like extrinsic and intrinsic goals, that other people can see, um, is like, what asking like what motivates you or us as people towards specific goals. Like I said, I have a max cape. If you ask me, I probably would say that's just something I wanted to do. I always, since I was a kid, thought it was cool to get your skills up high. So naturally, when old school RuneScape came out, and I started playing it as a high schooler, but really like way older than my kid brain, I knew how to do the thing that I wanted to do when I was a kid. I was like, oh, let me just train the skills, and it was just rewarding to me to get the skills up, and I liked doing it. I don't know. If you asked me, like, I would say like I'm intrinsically motivated just because this is something I want to do. This is something I enjoy doing. And it's kind of funny because that is true. But I don't think you can, if I'm going to keep myself honest, I don't think you can separate you can't separate the intrinsic reward from the extrinsic reward, because every time I would get a 99, It wasn't just that like nice, I did it, I know that I can do that, whatever, whatever, I don't know, whatever I'm saying for intrinsic motivation. It's also I get a skill cape and I can go wear it around the game, and if it's a particularly like rare one, I can wear it and other people will see it, and it might be considered a flex or a cool achievement on the game, which is definitely important. I don't know. I'll say important to me. I like having cool items. I like having stuff that took a long time to grind. Forever, the diary cape, the trimmed diary cape specifically, like, or trimmed quest cape, all that was just like such a cool thing to me. Now I never wear it anymore because I have my max cape, or I don't know. I'd hardly ever. I guess I did wear this thing at some point as my like go-to uh cape that I would wear if I wanted to just wear like high value stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't wear it now because I don't really see it. Again, this is to me. It's so far. It's so long ago that I got it, and the amount of work that it took to get it has kind of been dwarfed by the max cape, if nothing else. Let alone like I don't know. Like I have the infernal cape as well. That feels like a much more relevant achievement to other people. Well, it's also useful in the game. This is so complicated, but anyway, I'm trying to kind of quantify like what makes me choose a goal, or what makes other people choose a goal as well. And I guess what I'm trying to drive home is like as much as I think you have to, I think you kind of have to be. I'll speak for me. You have to be intrinsically motivated to get there. I have to be. I have to want it for me to get there. And this applies to all of life. This is like outside of RuneScape. Like it just has to be one of those things that I just want to do, and I'm okay with just hammering away at it. And maybe I make some progress one day, maybe I don't make some progress another day, but I'm okay with just spending time on this because the process is enjoyable, and the progress, no matter how little, is rewarding. Just the process and the progress are rewarding, and it's just something I want to do. I'm motivated from within to do this because I enjoy it and I want it. But you can't like but I have a hard time separating that from the fact that you can wear these items. And the reason I wanted to get the diary cape for the longest time was because I thought that the trimmed quest cape was so cool. I felt like you'd see at the time, it was a long time ago. I think Monkey Madness 2 wasn't even out. Like, I don't know when the diary cape came out specifically compared to all the new quests, but the quest cape was not as much of an achievement as it is today. Well, there weren't as many hard quests. It was kind of static. There was maybe like every quest to do plus Monkey Madness 2. Like it was pretty like determined. Like you know that you're gonna get there if you continue playing your main account. So a lot of people wore them because it was attainable, but it was also like a bit of a flex. Like, oh, you did all the quests. Like that's a pretty solid achievement. But it was also attainable enough that you'd see them quite a bit. So I thought like, oh, getting the trimmed quest cape would be like really cool. So let me go for the diary cape because that's how you get that. And I'll have the trimmed diary cape and the trim quest cape, and that's a cool achievement. That's something I want to do, and I felt so motivated to do this. I think I spent like, I don't know, my my early years of college just doing achievement diary skill grinds. Basically, I spent so much time smithing dart tips because it was profitable, because I would just prioritize gaining XP over everything. I wouldn't try to make any money on the account, really. Like if I could skill without having to get money to do it, I would do it. Whatever the cheapest way to do something was, I would do it. Or if it was profitable, I would do it. I obviously towards the end, when Zulrah and Vorkath came out, I started doing those a lot more. And you have to make money to do the Bibles. And I kind of broke all the way even. The moment I got enough money to finish my Bibles, I finished them. I didn't go back to Vorkath, and I finished maxing. But anyway, a bit of a tangent there on maxing. But back to the goals thing. So like I think the Infernal Cape is another interesting one. Granted, it is best in slot. So that has another kind of, it throws another wrench into the analysis, I guess, because it being best in slot is like, oh, you should try to get that because it's better. If you're gonna go do high level content and you're doing it without the best in slot items, that should be on your list. If you ever see those like we do raids, like progression, item progression flowcharts, basically, it's like if you're doing this raid, you can start with these items, but as soon as you make enough money from the raid to get the good items, you should buy them. And as far as the Infernal Cape goes, like that's just one you can use everywhere. Anytime you're using melee, you're probably gonna have a Fire Cape or Infernal Cape on, and it's just good everywhere where you're doing melee because it's the best in slot melee cape. And it's useful. It's useful. And then there's another aspect of it where it's like, oh, other people see you. Where I always had this joke, I can stop getting bullied at Tob when I get my Infernal Cape, because it really would happen. People would see my Fire Max Cape at the Tob bank. They'd go, nice cape, either joking about it or not. I think most people are being kind of cheeky and joking, no one's like serious. But even like if I would talk to people in my clan and be like, oh, I wonder what I'll grind next. I don't know. I just got this pet. I was working on that for a while. Like, I don't know what I'll do next. I'd be like, oh, go do the Inferno. Like, duh. Like, oh, okay. So like it has the other aspect where there's like kind of social pressure to do it. Like, and it's very visible. It's like what I was talking about with the mask kit. Oh my God, this is hard. Elite. Never mind. I need a hard clue to give Watson, but maybe I'll do this later. This clue. Anyway. Yeah, so the other aspect to the Infernal Cape where it's usable, it's very useful, it's visible. People will see you wearing it or see you not wearing it, seeing you wear the other item and be like, hey, go get the good item. But then there's also the intrinsic factor where it's like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this. I want to prove to myself I can do the Inferno. It's a hard challenge, and I want to do it to do it because it matters to me that I can do this. And that's, again, I guess I'll speak for me. That part has to be there. I think I've always wanted an Infernal Cape since it came out because it's like the best in slot cape and it's a flex, like duh. I don't know. But I hadn't been motivated to go get it until recently. I think I got it, oh shoot, I don't know, end of last year, end of 2024, beginning of 2025, I don't even remember. But I chose to go get it because something in my head just went, oh, this is important. I want to do this. I truly want to do this. And I'm enjoying the process. So I just went and did it. And it took a while. And it was enjoyable. The process was enjoyable, and I achieved the goal. And for me, that those other things were always there, but I think the internal want had to be there for me to actually go do it. So now that I'm thinking about this more, I'm thinking that maybe what helps you choose a goal, or to put a goal on the list, I guess, like to make something eligible for wanting to be a goal. I don't know, having a hard time explaining this setup here, but basically to get it on the list of stuff that might be nice to have or to get or to achieve. I think there has to be some extrinsic motivation there. It has to be something that it's like, oh, if I did that, if I got that, other people would see that I did that, and I might get a compliment, or I might feel good. I might feel like I'm skilled compared to other people. Again, I've always felt like comparing yourself to other people. I think the sentiment gets tossed around a lot. Like, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people, but it's also like the weird thing, like everyone does it too. It's interesting, but that definitely exists. So I'm not going to try to like ignore the fact that we all compare ourselves to the people around us. I will acknowledge that like that's maybe not the, I don't know, quote unquote best motivation. or a good way to think. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I feel like people always say try not to compare yourself to other people. But anyway, I think what puts something on the list, maybe for me or for others, is those extrinsic pressures. How yeah, how hard is this seen? Like how is this perceived to others if I do this? How will other people think, or where does this rank compared to other people if I do this? If I achieve this? And that puts it on the list. And I think I don't know, utility too. I think utility is another one I think I can touch on more with like a real life example. But yeah, I think that extrinsic motivation has to be there to get it on the list, and then the intrinsic motivation, at least for me, is what changes it to something I'm actually going to do or try to do. You know, not everything. I don't achieve everything I set out to do. I don't think anyone does. Sometimes you change your mind. Sometimes you fail and don't try to continue. Whatever. But yeah, what makes it something that I want to try to do is just that intrinsic motivation, and I think enjoyment. I think enjoyment too. I think I touched on that, but just enjoying the process and seeing little progress and feeling good about it has to be there too. You have to kind of start that feedback loop and enjoy it. So this came up for me in a real life conversation about like working out. Um, Long story short, kind of came about like we were joking around a lot about calories or something. Like, oh, what if soda had no calories? You could just drink soda or something. I don't know. But I made the joke that like, oh, if I wanted to bulk up and like put on muscle, you know, in the gym, I could just drink liters and liters of soda, so I could put on calories. And then someone's like, no, there's no protein, whatever. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about that kind of stuff, but I'm lightly interested in that stuff. But then someone who was talking to you goes like, it sounds like you just want other people to see. Like why would you want to do that? Why would you want to put on muscle? It sounds like you just want other people to see you, to think you're jacked or something. And I was kind of like, I don't remember the specific phrasing, but I was kind of like, what? Like, wait, why wouldn't I want to try to put on? I don't know. That has never like occurred to me that like that's not desirable. I guess I don't know. It's interesting. But I don't know. The reason that kind of felt weird to hear was because like to me that's obviously an I don't know. It's an obviously like societally desirable extrinsic goal, right? To like I don't know, get in shape, whatever. Um, but I don't know. I like to go to the gym because I like it. I don't know. I think it's fun. I feel better when I go to the gym. Actually, I think the real reason is I just feel better. I think my mental health is way better when I'm physically working out consistently. So that's what keeps me in there, honestly. If I'm 100% honest. But obviously, too, there's like kind of that like trio of like there's also utility. Like if you work out, you I don't know, you might be healthier. You might live longer, I don't know, or you might maintain more ability, you might be able to do more fun things, like things that require some athleticism, things like skiing, or I don't know, pick up basketball or something. I don't know, just sports or whatever, an obstacle course. I don't know, anything like anything that requires you to be in physically good shape. It You can go do those things if you are keeping yourself in good shape. And then also you look better, or you look, I don't know, you look what we societally consider as better, I guess I'll say that. So that's an extrinsic motivation too. So there's that extrinsic motivation and that utility motivation. But for me, the reason I want to work out is because I feel better when I do it, and I like doing it too. I think the process is fun. I like seeing the little progress in working out in my body, and like the strength numbers going up on like workouts that I'll do, like the reps and the weights going up on those workouts. So Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, that parallel between kind of RuneScape and real life is interesting. It's something that struck me kind of uh, recently, just having that conversation about working out. I thought I had another good real life example. Forgetting now, but I guess I could see the same for like a good job getting, or I don't know, again, quote unquote good job. I don't know what that means really, but I guess like going and working somewhere that people would think is impressive. I think that like yeah, there's another kind of all of those all of those motivators can be there. You can have that status, like people will know I work here, people will know I make money, like utility. Oh, I will actually make money. That will change my life. Yada yada. And then like intrinsic, I can prove to myself that I'm worth it, or like I can work. I don't know. Whatever. It's yeah. It there. I don't know. Kind of haven't thought through that example quite as much, but yeah. I don't know. So I wonder. I wonder. I guess my question is, what do other people think? Like, how do you choose a goal? What actually gets you to go for something? Um, what gets you to quit something is another interesting one. So I have like kind of a weird process sometimes with RuneScape and other stuff. So I've kind of two ways that I'll actually start doing something. I either have to lock in and completely just decide I am doing this. This is my number one priority right now. It won't be forever, but for right now, this is my number one priority, and I'm going to structure my entire day or my entire I don't know life or being or whatever. I'm going to everything I do is either going to be neutral or positive towards that goal, and I'm not gonna miss whatever my rep is for that ever. I'm never going to miss it, and I do whatever. Just do the next one, right? Like don't miss as few as you can, but like I will just do it as close to perfectly as I can, and also not get caught up about being imperfect, because that's an impossible task, is to just be actually 100% on something, especially starting out. But just try to do it as often and as frequently as I'm trying to do it. And then the other way I'll do stuff is like I'll try it a little bit, and I will like it'll be kind of hard, and I won't really stick to it, and I'll like drop it for like months, and then I'll come back and I'll do it again. I'll pick it up for like a week or two, get really into it, kind of hit another wall, and like drop it for months. And I there are a few things where I'll like, I guess that's kind of like RuneScape a little bit, right? Like the thing where you never quit, you don't quit, or no, yeah, you never quit, you just take breaks, because like I think what's so interesting about that is like you can have a goal that you've decided is like something you want to do. Like, okay, I'll put my like Ultimate Iron Man right here. I want to play an Ultimate Iron Man because I think it's cool. I think like Iron Man is, I don't know if this is true. I haven't even gotten far enough in an Iron Man to like start getting drops. I haven't gone to like Bandos or anything on an Iron. I have an Iron that has the TOA quest done, but I've never. It was a hardcore, and I died doing the quest, and I immediately quit the account. So haven't invested much more time with that. But anyway, I think that's that concept where like you might be going for the wrong thing, or something about this just isn't working. Now, granted, with a video game, like maybe life just gets in the way, maybe you just don't have time for it anymore, which is fine. But I would almost argue that if you're someone who plays games, like you might just replace that with a different game, or just watching more TV or something else that's like not productive, I guess. Like you might just replace that game or something else that is productive in a different way. I don't know. Getting a bit into the weeds here, but I think like if you, for me at least, if I try to do something for too long that like I'm not enjoying, the extrinsic motivator of the achievement like stops working for me. It's kind of just like the fun has to carry it and the enjoyment moment to moment has to carry it through. I hear this concept of being pulled towards something. You can push yourself pretty far, but like to get really, really far, you have to be pulled. So I think like with my UIM specifically, I was pulled. I followed the wiki guide for So Rush, and I'm not through it. I'm not even close to all the way through. I'm not to Song of the Elves yet on my UIM, but I'm doing the guide, and I decided to do some like extra stuff too. Like I have a pretty good baseline on my account. I got some extra skills that'll set me up later in the account. But there was a point in the guide where it said get 65 or 82 or 85 farming at Tithe Farm. And 65 was a grind. That took a while. I probably could have banged that out and continued to follow the guide. But I was like, in my head, it's like, no, I want to go for 85. I want to just do it. I want to start doing like hard contracts or whatever, I don't know. I think hard contracts are the highest one, but I want to do hard farming contracts. Like I want to really lock in. I want to get high farming. So when I get all kinds of good seeds, I can use them on my UAM. So I I decided to just I'll be locked into Tithe Farm until I'm 85 farming. And I want to say that was like 6 months ago. And I kind of just stopped playing it because I went from playing it every single day for hours a day, making so much progress, like the fastest account progress I have ever made, like ever, to not playing it at all because I just was like not really feeling Tithe Farm. And I guess again, like I could probably have done 65 and just continued because that was a pretty fun grind, pretty good little grind. Tithe Farm's not that bad, but just the amount of Tithe Farm I signed up for, I just kind of stopped enjoying it. So I just stopped playing that account, and I've just kind of been back on my main and my alts in the meantime. When I am playing more than one account, I mostly have just been playing my main. Because it's pretty sticky. There's just always more stuff to do on a main. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I think that just I had that extrinsic kind of motivator where it's like, oh, it'd be cool to have like a cool UIM. It feels like maybe I feel like I've said something like this similar, but it feels like the only account that I see where I'm like, oh, that's impressive that you've done something on that account, where it's also not a hardcore account, because obviously hardcores and group hardcores are impressive, but as a normal human who doesn't want to remake hardcores every time they die, I my one hardcore died and I did not remake because I don't know why. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me for what I enjoy about the game. And like playing the hardcore itself, I didn't enjoy that much either because I would just skill or I would like go do stuff and like be scared. I don't know. Anyway, I don't really enjoy hardcore, and I think like the only account that I see where I'm impressed by the achievements and it's a hardcore and it's not a hardcore is like UIM. So I was like, well, let me just do it. Like regular Iron Man is in leagues and everything. It doesn't even like, it feels solved. It feels like everything's been done. Or at least everything's been done by someone who I've like, who I can like go talk to or something. If that makes sense. Like it feels like you can walk around in the game and find like a pretty impressive Iron Man pretty frequently, but I think like an impressive UIM is still kind of rare to see out in the world. Kind of if you see them in a raid or in a clan or something, it's like, oh, that's a nice UIM. Don't see those very often. So that's what kind of motivated me to like start a UAM, and then like playing it was fun as hell, so much fun. Following like early questing, all that, so much fun. But it just wasn't enough to carry me through getting 85 farming at Tithe Farm. I think I'm like 70, 73. I'm about to unlock the last plant. I think it's at 74, something like that. I'm getting really close. I actually have had membership on it, and I'll play it every once in a while recently. And I don't know. I don't play it too much, but we'll go in and do some Tithe Farm and log out. And but yeah, something about like the the moment to moment progress with the goal like just isn't doing it for me right now. Maybe it's just the gameplay. Maybe it's just the gameplay of Tithe Farm because it kind of has that mini game thing going on where it like feels like I have to do a session. I can't just. It's not like fishing where I could just like, oh, I can just log out. I can just be done with fishing for now, and then I can log back in and just do fishing for like however long. It feels like for Tithe Farm I have to log in and do. I have to do at least a set of plants. I have to do at least like I don't know 20 plants or something. That's like that feels like a session, and ideally you do a lot more than that. You do several rounds of that, but like at the very least you're locked in for 20 plants. I think I'll actually do 25. You can do it if you're like pretty quick with the pathing. But anyway, that's yeah, that's kind of a long tangent there, but yeah, kind of just my thoughts on goals as they relate to RuneScape. I hope my real life examples kind of translated, and I don't know if I really figured anything out too. I really wanted to kind of maybe figure out if I could enlighten what myself or others what makes us choose goals and what makes us choose goals to follow through with. And I think it's I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think the best I can do right now is that maybe extrinsic motivators and tangible benefits help us choose what goals to put on our lists, and then the intrinsic motivators help us choose which of those goals to actually follow through with. I think that's the best I've got. Does anyone else feel this way? Does anyone else do you agree with me or disagree on that kind of read? Um, do you feel like you're motivated more or less by extrinsic motivators or utility motivators? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know. I think I'll finish off here by opening these three beginner caskets that I got. Let's see here. Nothing. Nothing. Oh wow, is that like the worst one you can get? 3 coins. That's incredible. All right. Cool. Good game. I will continue playing this game and doing these clues because they are rewarding to me for some reason. Okay, bye.